Hello. So in previous video we have somewhat started our actual Hangman game. Let's run that. Now uh, our secret word is apple. You know. Uh, First, let me guess the correct option. So it will give this string with the message good guess, and you can also see that here from this alphabets A is removed because A is already guessed. So these many letters are available there to guess for us. So I guess a wrong one, V. Then we will get uh, a wrong message. Oops, that letter is not in my word along with our guessed word. But there is a problem that V is not removed from available letters. So we can implement that at first. Okay, for that I'm going to create a list. Here it's correct letters list. I'm creating another list called wrong letters list. In this list we will save we will collect all the letters which the user entered wrong. So what we will do is, we will, if it is wrong guess, then we will append that to to the list. uh, is guest letter dot lower. Okay, fine. Now we have to remove that from this available letters. So the method, the function we use is to print this available letters. The function we use is get available letters function. So here the input is all the list of letters uh, which should be removed from this available letter string. So what I am going to do is, here I am only passing the correct letters list. Now I combine that with wrong letters also. Now what will happen is, this function will get the combined a single list which contains all the correct letters and all the wrong letters. So this function will give a string uh, without these letters present in this list. So let me run this. Correct, I is removed. I given one wrongus. G is removed. Okay, then it's working fine. So that problem sort out. Now we have to move to the next section. User input requirement that we already did. Oh, here. Okay, you may assume that the user will only guess one character at a time, but the user can choose any number, symbol or letter. Your code should accept capital and lowercase letters as valid guesses. If the user inputs anything besides the alphabet, that means symbols and numbers, any special symbols like dollar sign, hash, then tell the user that they can only input an alphabet, because the user might do this by accident. They should get 3 warnings at the beginning of the game. Each time they enter an invalid input, that is symbols or numbers, or a letter that they have already guessed, they should lose a warning. So there will be 3 warnings in total. Whenever a user enter a symbol or letter, that means an invalid entry, then the user will lose one warning. Or if the user guessed any letter that the user already guessed, then also the user will lose one warning. They should lose a warning. If the user has no warnings left and enters an invalid input, they should lose a guess. Okay. User calls to the input function. You may find the string helpful is alpha. So does not input and is alpha. Oh, this function I think will give um a, return an boolean if the function if the string is alphabet, then it will be true. If the string is anything other than alphabet, it will give false, I think. Okay, and this str.lower. Oh, this is another function to convert any string to lowercase. Okay, if you don't know what these functions are, you can try str.alpha. Okay, anyway, since the words are lowercase, it might be easier to convert the user input. Okay, so okay, fine. Since the word, one thing we can do is here we are converting the letter to lowercase, right? But we can convert that letter. No, we can convert here only, because if the user entered one or two, any number or special character, then it cannot be converted to lowercase, right? It may throw an error, so it's better to convert here only. Anyway, it might easier to convert the user. Okay, so example is here. Yes, okay. If it's a special character, then the message should be this along with the warnings left. Okay. Now what we can do, we should update this method, I think. Hmm. Okay, anyway. Hmm. Okay, if the letter is lower in word, first of all let me check whether special character can be converted to converted to can be converted to lowercase. If it doesn't throw any error, then what we can do is we can lower our user input to lowercase from here itself. No need to repeatedly do this. Check letter dot lower clear letter is special character. Oh, it's no problem in the if the letter is number also. Oh, okay, so this method is not throwing any error if the letter is special character or number. So what we can do is, instead of calling this lower function here, what we can do is here itself we can call this lower function, then we can remove this lower function from here and here. Now that was a minor correction. Now what should we do is we should check whether the number is alphabet or not. So if what was the function, str dot is alpha, right? If str dot is alpha, no function, dot is alpha. We will give word as input. If this is correct, then only we should check whether the letter is in our word or not. Okay, then we will check whether the letter is in our word or not. Okay, so if it is not alpha, not alpha, it's alpha, sorry, alpha, yes, is alpha. Okay, if it is not an alphabet, then else what we can do, we can return false, false, along with an error message. What was the error message? Oops, that is not a valid letter. You have two warnings left, but that two should not be hard coded, it should vary. But as of now, I am just passing this message just to check. Okay, you can run. I press A, that's a good guess. I press P, which is also a good guess. I press K, that's not, letter is not in my word. I press special character, then also it's saying oops, that okay. Why that happened? If is alpha, it's not a valid letter. Okay, my word, that letter is not in my word. If is alpha. Okay, let me check that. Add as print statement here. I will call this here. I'm pressing A, which is true. I'm pressing, which is also true. Oh, this alpha function is not working. Then why they give str dot is alpha? Let me check in it. Str dot is alpha in Python. Function Python used to check all characters in each string are alphabetic. It's equivalent to running the alpha for each element of a string. If there are 0 characters, false is returned. Is alpha method returns true for all in the input strings are alphabet. There is at least one character. The method does not contain any parameter. Should work fine. Why it is not working? Where it is cool. Okay, check a response, secret word and guest letter. Oh, I am passing secret word. Oh, I should pass this letter. Oh, silly mistake. Because word is our secret word. Letter is the user input. Simple mistake. Simple mistake. Simple mistake. It will work fine now. Now I press dollar. Oops, that's not okay. To warning. So here we need to know about the warnings that left, warnings left, and guesses left. So I will add that in input. Warning number and guess number. Okay, warning number should be an int. It is the number of warnings left. Guess number, which is also int. Number of guesses left. Okay. Okay, so that's there. So we should add that. For before that, I should add a integer, a variable to store the number of warnings left. So warnings left, which will be, at first it will be 3. One more thing. At first it should show how many warnings left also. So so what I'm doing is, just after this, where should be, no, it should be printed at first only. When user entered, then number of warnings is not here. So my plan is to add here at the starting of the game. The user will come to know how many warnings in total he or she have. You have 3 warnings left. You have what warnings left? Warnings left. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Now we should pass number of warnings and number of warning number and guess number here. Warning left and guesses left. Okay, now that information we will get here. Now, okay, now what we should do now, if the user enter a special character, then what was the condition? If the user, there is 3 conditions. One, if the user input anything besides the alphabet, then one warning will be loose. One warning each time the user enter invalid input or the letter they have already guessed. In that case also, user will lose one warning. How we will know if the letter is already guessed or not? Check letter invert. Should we create one more function? Because if we add all that logic here, it will become a long one. Okay, what we can do, we can create one function called uh, initial check. So in initial check, what we check is whether okay, we'll pass these warnings. No, my okay, let me add a logic here only, then if required we will move that to a new method, new function. So if it is not alpha, which means a special character or number, then we lose one warning. So first of all we have to check if warning number is greater than 0. If it is 0 or if it is 0, then there is no warnings left. Then we have, what we have to do is we have to decrease number of guesses. Okay, then if warning number is greater than 0, then what we have to do, we have to decrease one warning. We have to decrease one warning by we have to decrease by 1. Then that should be added here, number of warnings, warning number. Okay, but if that's not the case, if warning number we don't have any warning, then we have to decrease this guess number by 1. Then also we have to check if guess number is greater than 0 or not. Then we can decrease guess number by 1. And one more thing, else this case what you have to do, you have no warnings left, you have no guesses left, then what should we do? We have to end the game. That logic we can implement later, but just for us to know, we can add a to do, end the game, and we can pass this else by for now. This thing, this return, we can add here, because here only we have decreasing the warning number. If no warnings left and we are decreasing number of guesses, then the return should be because this message will not create any logic. Oops, this is not a valid vector. We can add is, you have no warnings left, so decreasing your number. So what should be the message? So you lose your number of guesses. You have this many guesses left. Okay, okay. This case I am now. Now we have to return this uh, warning number and guess number. So that should be updated in our Hangman function. Warning number and guess number both are int. Both are int. Now here status true. Here we can add warning number and guess number. Here also we can add warning number and guess number. Here also we should add warning number, guess number. Okay. So we have to update the number of warnings and number of guesses here, so that we are doing right now. Warnings left equal to check response 0. This one is 0 1 2 guesses left 3. Now program will work. If I enter a correct option, then okay. If I enter a no, oh, something went wrong. I entered a wrong option, then index tuple index out of range. 163. If I enter a wrong option, then oh, it's an alpha case. In this case also we had to add warning number and guess number. Correct option, then okay, fine as before. Correct option, a wrong option also working fine. If I enter a special character, you have 2 warnings left. If I enter a number, you have 1 warning left. If I enter a number again, 0 warnings left. If I keep on entering wrong inputs, okay, oops, this not able to create file list. Okay, it working fine, but we have to add another functionality also, that is each time you enter in or the letter they have already guessed. That in that case also we have to do the same thing. Okay. So if it is a letter, uh, okay, if it is a letter, and if it is a letter, first of all we have to check whether that letter is already guessed or not. But already guessed, we are not getting any input here, so we should get these two lists, that is correct letters list and wrong letters list. In both case, the user is already guessed whether his or her guess is correct or not. The user guessed that letter already. So we what we can do is we can combine these two lists and give that to this method. We can add that input here. We can call the input as guessed word list. Okay, GUEST. We should add that here. GUEST word list, which is a list. What is that list? All letters user have guessed so far. Irrespective of whether that letter is in word or not. So if it is a letter, then we have to check if letter in guessed word list. If that's the case, then we have to check we have to check here the same thing we have to do, right? So this code will get repeated. What we can do is we can copy this and for now I am passing this if condition. We can copy that and we can create a new function called warning check ck. We should get number of warnings warning number, this thing, and we should get guess number, this thing. Okay, now we have to copy this thing. Okay, warning check else. Okay, number of warnings is greater than 0, then warning should be 1. We can remove this this message, because we know from this function we don't know whether the letter is valid or not, but we know how many warnings left and how many guesses left. So input is warnings number and guess number. What should be output? Returns. First of all, output will be whether the game ends or not. That should be the first output. Then we should give the updated number of warnings and updated number of guesses. So it should be a tuple. So first one will be game end or not. Okay, we should be a boolean. Then warning number it should be an int, and guess number it should be again an int. Okay, now what? If warning is greater than 0, then warning should be less than return. You have this much warnings left. And then the tuple will give along with that we should give this message also. Okay, message should be a string. So number of warnings, number of guesses. Okay, fine. Now if guess you have 3 warnings, guess. So you have this many guesses. Whether game end or not, here game will not end, game end, so false. Here game end, false. Here return, here game ends, so true. We can pass the message as game ends. There is no point to return warning number and guess number here. Or else we can give here like this 0 and 0, because warning and there will not be any warnings or guesses left. No point in add pass after return. So now we can remove not remove, we can call this function. Letter is in guess word. If else, we can call this letter what is warning check method. We can call warning check method here. First input should be warning number. Second input is guess number. No, that's it. We can store the response in check response variable. Now in this case it's not a valid letter. Here we are checking whether the string is a part of alphabet. Then if it is not an alphabet, then the it's not a valid input. It may be a number or a special character. Then we can return false along with the message. Now we have to add this part of message. Okay, now from check response we will get the remaining part. That we are adding here. Check response it's in first index message. So 1, that's it. Now number of we had to update the number of warnings and number of guesses. So warning number equal to check response here. Warning is set to 0 1 2 second position, and number of guess number check response in 3. Now return false, and we have to return warning number and guess number. Now the code we can remove. We are not checking by now we are not checking whether the game is the game ended or not. That means we are run no warnings are left, no warnings or guesses are left. In that case we have to end the game. That check we are not doing by now. Okay, then we are returning. Okay, now we can implement this condition. What's this condition? If the letter is in guessed word list, means user already guessed that letter, then what we can do is we can call mm, mm, can call this function here. Now check response, uh, the return should be, it's not a valid, you have to uh, in that case the letter it's not you have already guessed the letter. You have, this is the method, this is the message we have to add here. So let me check whether here we are checking what we are checking whether this letter is let sorry letter is alphabet or not. Here we are checking whether user already guessed or not. If user is guessed, then no need to print this statement. If the user is not guessed, then we have to check whether that letter is in our word or not. Okay, now it should work, I guess. There is 3 warnings left, there is 6 guesses left. I am pressing correct one. Oh, it's throwing error. What is the error? Check letter in word type. Check one required position are given guess number. Guess number. Check. What is the 182? Guess letter. Warnings left. Guess left. Let me check this one. If it is correct word, then we are passing warning number and guest number. What's the problem? Status message. Yeah. In that case also we have first one is boolean, then is string, then warning left. What's the problem? Letter is in word. Uh, Hangman. It will be some silly mistake as always, but I'm not. The error throwing is from here. Yes, we are passing. Let me check the inputs. So we are passing secret word, first letter. See, oh, I'm not passing this guest word list. That's the problem. Guest word list. I forgot. Guest word list means all the letters user already guessed. Now it should be work. I hope so. Yes. Um, you have two warnings left. I am pressing A again. You have already guessed. I am guessing one wrong guess. Oops, that letter is not inverted. I am guessing that the same letter again. You have already guessed that letter. Uh, okay, it's working fine. I think. Yes. I run out of here. You have three warnings left. You have one warning left. You have two warnings left. Okay. Now warnings. There is no warnings left. So you five guesses. Five guesses. Okay. Now that functionality is working. So I'm ending this video. We will continue in next videos.